reports today by the Washington Post that conservatives, and you know how this goes, right? They're the line between what constitutes the lowest rung of the conservative taxonomy, is basically now functionally equivalent with your typical Republican senator. There is no, there was a day where it was like, oh, these people, the Breitbarts and the low end folks, they're kept at arm's length. Mike Cernovich isn't going to be dining at the White House, but those days are over.
Right.
And
Breitbart, they're all Breitbart now. Yeah.
The conservatives are trying to mount a whisper campaign saying that Jamal Khashoggi was Muslim Brotherhood, and that's why he should be chopped up when he goes in to get a marriage license. Mm-hmm. And so here is, with that as the backdrop, right? And we just played a clip of Mike Pompeo coming back and saying, we're going to give them a couple more days to get their story straight and figure out how they're going to make up something.
We need to catch the real killers. Yeah, we have to give them a little
exactly.
more time
if the glove doesn't fit, but this was interesting. Donald Trump last night, he's in where was he in Virginia? Was it Missoula, Montana? Sorry, and he's at his rally, and he's added a line. Now, granted, Gianforte is from that area, yes.
Yeah, he's a Montana guy,
right? But how he talked about Gianforte, he had a choice, and here's where he went for. Here's what he went for.
He's so smart. We've had people. You're on live television all over the place, and we've had people get up, speak for 20, 25 minutes, and these guys are going crazy. That's not the deal. But Greg is smart, and by the way, never wrestle him. You understand that? Never. Any guy that can do a body slam, he's my kind. He's my guy. I shouldn't say this because there's nothing to be embarrassed about. So I was in Rome with a lot of the leaders from other countries talking about all sorts of things, and I heard about it.
Yeah, he heard about. And now he's referring to when Gianforte criminally body slammed a reporter. He was indicted, right? Charged and convicted.
Yes, he was.
And
you know what I love about that, though? Well, you finish first, and I'll tell you what I love even more about that.
Nothing to be embarrassed about. But I have a theory about why Trump highlighted that. You go first.
Well, I'm not giving a theory about why you highlighted it. I'm just saying I love how, in possibly the most unintended metaphor of all time, it was like, when I was in Rome, right? Like the perfect metaphor for the falling of our empire,
right?
Is sort of, like when he was in Rome, the one of the other places that allowed a once functioning, at least on some level, democracy to become so thoroughly corrupt, allowed the people like Gianforte and others to cross the line, the Rubicon, if you will, and to come inside and behave that way, and of course, which led to Rome turning to dust. And that's how he of course he's too much of a moron to have any understanding of anything. But yeah, I mean, if you're going to say your theory is that part of this is to kind of ease the burden of what happened, what's going on with Saudi Arabia,
yes,
to defend kind of his attacks on the press, because so many Republicans, of course, have pushed back your Ben Sasses and others that never do anything, so it doesn't much matter. But at least they've sort of critically said, oh, well, Susan Collins tweeted out, and of course we all know Susan Collins is going to follow up on this until that first phone call from McConnell or W, and that we need those to back off this one, and she will. But how terrible and horrible it is with Khashoggi, we have to get to the bottom of it, and we have to, whoever it is must pay for it. But we all know in the end that they're not going to do anything. So once those voices, we've seen this movie a million times where those voices will grow quiet, the news cycle will move on, and Trump will do what he's doing right now, which is to find ways to kind of to loosen the reins and justify the media had it coming. They deserved it. And this is part of that with Gianforte. That would be sort of my theory, but go for yours. So
I agree. I think that is exactly it. I mean, I think that, it is, again, to muddy the waters around this particular topic that, to sort of take the baseline of what kind of violence is appropriate against a reporter. I mean, I can't believe that I'm saying those words, but that, just creating this dynamic of like, look, government officials, reporters, there's always like this tension that gets resolved in some type of physical thing. And, the Saudis are a little bit more they're a little bit more intense than we are. That's all that's going on here. And I think it is to mitigate, the impact, the potential impact that this could have on the midterms. I think we're probably a couple of days away from seeing this become a campaign issue where, just
a rallying cry. Well,
a little bit.
Kavanaugh did, right? And all sorts of things that we believed a couple of years ago. And I would say when I think you, me, others who were already very cynical about who the Republican Party was, or how they've just pushed past the boundary on everything. Child molestation, treason, sexual assault. I mean, name the issue. Obviously, not paying your taxes for 30 years, although that might have always been a positive in the Republican Party. But why wouldn't this become a he said, she said issue? Why wouldn't they make this about if you're with our team? Because everything, again, this is what fascism is. You're with the team, and if you're with the team can do no wrong. You know what I mean? Reality is what the team says it is. So I don't see where. Clearly already Trump has set the tone of, they're out there looking for the real killers. It may not have been them. All the evidence we have from an audio recording to what the Turks are saying, not that the Turks are the most trustworthy right now, but in general, what a variety of evidence is telling us, a witness apparently who heard things going on and the rest, is all wrong. Just the way all the people corroborating what Dr. Ford was saying, the general behavior of Brett Kavanaugh, things that she told them afterwards, everything didn't really happen. It was just he said, she said. And there's no doubt that's where they're headed with this.